Watch it be the end credit scene. Do you guys think we're gonna get an end credit scene this volume? I'd be very sad if we no longer got end credit scenes, I'll be honest. Like, last volume was understandable. They didn't do an end credit scene because, you know, they didn't want to crunch to make that, to get to that point. But man, end credit scenes were so fun. Because I think Carrie said volume 9 is gonna be a detour. I think he said something along those lines. I don't know if that means we're going, I don't know if that's a flashback detour. Like, are we gonna get this flashback sequence in volume 9, or are we gonna go to the Dragon Continent maybe? But I'm pretty, or maybe it's gonna be another travel volume, like volume 6 and volume 5, 6 and 4 were. But yeah, I wonder what he meant by that. I think he said something along the lines. I'm like 75% sure he said something along those lines. I can't source it because I don't remember where I heard him say that. Dude, imagine we got a whole volume with just Team Stark. I would not complain about that at all. I mean, I wouldn't. It wouldn't be progressing the RWBY plot, but it would still give context to what's been going on all these years. Like, in the past, at the very least. That'd be Pog. I'd like that. Or they can go back to Vale. Yeah, they could take a pit stop in Vale, see Glinda, see the shopkeeper, see Tai Yang after making that announcement. But I feel like Vale has to be the final destination, because that's where all of the nostalgia and emotions come back to from the Beacon days, right? The Beacon arc, the fall of Beacon, you know, the classroom scenes, the characters that were there, Pyrrha, you know, the Vital Festival tournament, you know, the dance, all that kind of stuff. Like, you're just going to get hit with the volume 1 nostalgia once we get there. So I feel like saving Vale for last is probably going to give us the best payoff for that kind of, for those kind of emotions and memories. I thought the next time we saw Jin would be the last time we saw Jin, but it's still kind of cool that she got to have a little bit of a voice line here. And she's still going to be around for... And here's the thing, too. I think if you're going to call Jin back again, it has to be another flashback episode. There's, like... I would be very disappointed if they used one of Jin's questions to give us such a reward for a question like that. It's like, what's Ozpin hiding from us? Your answer? A 26-minute episode. I feel like it would be very underwhelming if the next question that was asked was, like, answered in, like, 2 words. Like, you can't... How do we stop Salem? You can't. All right, see ya, bye. I almost feel like Jin's purpose is flashbacks. That gives information, like relevant information for what's going on. I really can't accept anything else or see anything else being the alternative for how she would answer a question if it's not going to be a flashback sequence of some sort or a whole episode sequence like the Lost Fable was. I don't know why, but a part of me is thinking that how this is going to tie in with Summer Rose is like, someone's going to ask the question, what happened to Summer Rose? And that's such a loaded question that it's going to turn into, like, imagine the end credit scene is actually, the relic is still there, the villains have lost, they somehow got they got one relic but lost the other, right? They got, you know, we got the lamp, but they got the staff, Atlas falls out of the sky, doom and gloom all around. Let's get out of here. Let's just try to head to Vacuo. And they have the last question, and they're thinking about everything that just happened. They're thinking about all the times Summer's been mentioned. They recognize that the Hound was a silver-eyed person, and they brought up Summer Rose, and you know, Yang brought her up, Ruby brought her up, Salem responded to her about her twice. And the last question is like, maybe it's even from Ruby. It's like, what happened to my mom? And that's the end credit scene, which starts off the Team Stark volume, which would be volume 9. In my head, that's what I would do. I'm not a fucking writer. That's why I didn't make the show. But, like, that's my head canon, I guess is what I should say. Like, that's how I would think. Or even Crow, maybe. You know, maybe even Crow would be like, yo, what the fuck happened to my teammate? Like, what really happened? Because I can't accept anything that Oz has told me up to this point. And Ironwood's just a scumbag in my eyes, so I can't really trust anyone to give it to me straight. So yeah, I think that would be a great way to give us a Team Stark flashback, right? Because that's Jin's whole purpose. And I think simultaneously, even if they wanted to do an entire volume, they would do that as an end credits, because that's what will lead into the next season or the next volume or whatever. Yeah, and then at that point, it would contextualize everything that's happened so far, all the things that they did right, all the things that they did wrong, all the things that Ozpin maybe did right and wrong. It would give the dynamic of the group. It would show, like, Ruby and Yang, like, a dynamic of their moms, what led Raven to leave, what led Summer to go missing, Maybe it'll give them some context of like, maybe you shouldn't be so hard on Raven because maybe she's gone through X, Y, and Z, which is why she left you alone. Or this can answer the questions of what happened to Summer Rose and why you were alone all this time. And this is what happened to your dad as a result. And this is what happened to Crow as a result. And this is what happened to Ozpin as a result. And you get to see all of that. And then, like, after you get when you get an entire season of backstory, it snaps you back to the present. Everyone kind of has a better understanding of how to do things to not make those same mistakes of the past. And then you move forward to Vacuo. I think that would be pretty cool. The reason I think about this is because I don't know if any of you guys are anime fans out there, like, who have seen this anime, but an anime that I watched called Kuroko no Basket. It's a really dope, like, shonen, like, basketball anime. It's literally like Dragon Ball Z basketball. It's the coolest shit ever. I love Kuroko no Basket. It's one of my favorite animes of all time. But they did this one arc. It was the middle school. So, like, all the characters are in high school, but they did this one arc before the last season, and it was a flashback arc. It was like a 4 or 5 episode flashback arc. And it contextualized so much of the characters in their youth and how they met and how they broke apart and how they all went their separate ways. And it gave so much context to the final season and, like, where all the characters were as like high school students and, like, the tournament arc and all that shit. And that's what I think of when I think of what I'm perceiving for RWBY is like that. Like, you give us a flashback which contextualizes the past and makes an impact on the future volume to come. And so that's kind of what I think about. Yeah, Kuroko's basketball is so fucking good. I would recommend it to anybody. I don't even like sport. I don't even watch basketball. I don't watch sports. I'm not really that big into sports myself, like in terms of sports games or watching like football or basketball or baseball or whatever. But like, I watch Kuroko's, like, anime sports. Sign me the fuck up. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. I'd recommend it to anybody. That show is it's how me and my friends really bonded over the years. Like, we watched season 1 together, and then we watched season 2 together and season 3 together, and the OVAs and the movies. We like, yeah. You don't even have to be a sports person to like it. Like, I'm not a sports person, and I loved it. Anyways, that's kind of where I get the idea of this Team Stark flashback and how it would coincide with the current event instead of it being an OVA that happened after the main show is done, because most people might not stick around after the main show is done. And Team Stark is one of the most sought after things that the fans have asked for years, and they understand it. Carrie said that they want to do it. They want to do it right. They want to do it when the time is right. And I think maybe that's something they're considering. But yeah, I would really, I'd be so excited. I'd be so happy if that's something that they considered for Summer Rose, and maybe that's the question, and maybe that's how they'll do it, and that's what Jin's final question will give. It won't just give an idea. It won't just answer like what happened to Summer Rose. It'll basically answer everything surrounding her character and what led to her disappearance. The day Summer Rose is revealed as a Hound Grim, watch the next episode be a Team Stark episode, just so RWBY can twist the knife. Yeah, just so they can twist the knife of Summer being turned. Yeah, I could see that happening too, like Summer revealed as a Hound and then we get the flashback, because it, you know, it would pair off really well instead of it just being a continuation of recent events. It's like, my name's Summer Rose. You're probably wondering how I ended up this way. Well, let me tell you the story, and then the next episode is the flashback episode. Yeah, and we get more Colleen too, so that's really great. So like, whatever the last question is going to be, it's going to be heavy. I think it's going to be heavy. I think we can all agree on that.